Okay, and welcome everyone. We have a really exciting conversation that's happening this morning. We are so fortunate to have one of our ASEA Medical Professional Board members joining us this morning, talking about upgrading your skincare with our RENUadvanced skincare system. So let me tell you a little bit about why you should be excited to be hearing from Carolyn this morning. She has been in the field of natural health for over 20 years. She is a board certified naturopathic doctor, certified natural health professional, and has advanced training in, now what is it, Loomis digestive health specialist. That's amazing. And then you specialize though in, it looks like you specialize in lymphatic detoxification and a bunch of other things as well. Tell me a little bit though, Dr. Hoffman, why you were so drawn to the ASEA skincare line and what is so unique about it, kind of with your background and your experience.
I'd love to. Thanks for inviting me. This is fun to get to talk about the skincare piece, which I don't think really gets as much publicity as it should do, because it is really a phenomenal line. And just my background was, at one point in my history, we actually owned a spa. And although I'm not an esthetician, I was really privileged to be able to go along with my estheticians and attend all the skincare classes that they were being given for the professional skincare lines that we were using at the time. And so that kind of brought me into a foundation of interest, probably around my early 40s at that point, about the importance of skincare. And I think, we think of it maybe just as the anti-aging piece. We don't want to wrinkle, but what I want to talk about here is that all of those things were things that we apply to the skin. What we offer here with the support with the ASEA Redox in particular, because it is the only skincare line on the planet that actually has a redox system basis for it. And so we're actually going to something much more important than simply applying products to the epidermis, the surface of the skin, but actually to the skin health that determines what that end product, what we see, looks like. And I can't say that I was drawn to ASEA skincare just because I was so excited about skincare. I actually, when I first joined the company, and I was fascinated by the redox technology, and I was really only thinking of that as another product technology to offer to my clients in how do we maintain and support vitality from the inside. But I was at that point when we go through things, we finish our product technology that we're using at the moment, and it's like, oh, let me try this and let's see. And so I bought some of it in my first purchase and thought, well, I'll try this, because I had struggled with my own skin for many years. I'd actually used a product from an over-the-counter company, very well-known company, but it had been over harsh for my skin, and that was back in my 20s. But it really set this pattern of disrupting how smooth and moisturized my skin felt. It was constantly dry. It produced all of those kinds of irritants to the skin that very often you'll find doctors will be giving you antibiotics for endlessly. And I had struggled to try to keep my skin in reasonable shape. And so I was using a lot of very heavy duty moisturizers, not simply as nighttime moisturizers, but as my daytime go-to, because I was so dry. So when I tried the ASEA, I was just amazed at how phenomenal my skin began to feel and how it started to rebalance itself. And that was just 4 years ago. I will clearly and quite happily say I was 64 at that point. And, I wasn't like you are on the other end of things, where my skin's turning over pretty fast. And I've seen remarkable changes in those 4 years. So I've been really excited about what we have here.
Well, and I think too, I think that the skincare line is ASEA's best kept secret almost. It's not talked about very often, but I think that a lot of people who end up using it find just such amazing benefits. Now, can you walk people along the path of how did ASEA start with the redox drink that people are so familiar with, and then end up with the skincare line?
Yeah, absolutely. So the redox drink that we all benefit from on a daily basis is actually also one of the ways to support your skincare, because that's the internal process of changing the very basis of our skin. I actually saw a little video the other day with your mother actually involved, and an esthetician talking about how she describes skin. And the structure is, it's actually 3 layers, but she talks about the top layer, which is what everybody thinks of as skin. And when we put all of those things on the top, that's that little epidermis. She was thinking that that description could be rather like your mattress, but the base piece underneath is that springboard that supports the skin. So ASEA does that. It goes in deeper, but it actually goes, I think, even further down. It goes into the hypodermis, which is really like the floorboards that your mattress and your bed are sitting on. So we're going to support from the inside with that. And that was that breakthrough technology in producing something called a redox signaling molecule, not actually discovering it, which came about in the 90s, but being able to take the research and propel and do something really unique to be able to stabilize a very volatile active molecule that we're all producing in every single cell of the body as we speak, otherwise we wouldn't be alive. But being able to find a way to deliver it into a commercial use so that we can replenish something that is literally essential to us staying alive and staying healthy. It is the communicating system of how the body operates, and we can replenish. So we replenish with that, and that was the first product that came to market back in 2009. So people started to do things with that. And if you love little spray bottles and things like that, I love to play around with spray bottles, but people became inventive, right? They were seeing the benefits of the internal use of the redox. So they started spraying it on the skin. And the company realized that people were getting benefits from that use. And so that then made them say to themselves, well, okay, how can we actually platform this? How can we find a way to deliver a liquid in a way that you could apply to the skin? That was actually a 5-year project. A 5-year project in finding what was something that they could suspend that liquid in and deliver it to the skin that wouldn't activate those molecules, because they're highly volatile, and so they activate when they come in contact with us. So when we apply it to the skin, this is not like anything else that you will have used. Right? This is not something that has to be absorbed to function. It literally starts to communicate the moment we hit the skin and we touch it. So it's a very unique approach to skincare and skin health.
And so tell me a little bit about, a lot of people are familiar then. Let's see if my virtual background is not really working well. So there's the Renew 28 gel, right? There you go. Perfect. You've got it. We've got our Renew 28 gel. And then so many people are asked the question, well, how is the serum different from the Renew 28 gel?
Yeah, perfect. So those of us who are familiar with using the liquid will know this is your baseline product. This is twice as concentrated as the liquid. It isn't an exact science because one is an internal delivery and one is an external delivery. But when we move to the intensive serum, which is also one of my favorites, this is twice as concentrated as the Renew 28. So you have a more intense delivery system. It is slightly different because it does have another ingredient in their dimethicone, which gives it this beautiful silky quality to it. And the interesting thing would be that, if somebody feels like they want something that feels more moisturizing, then use this. I think a lot of people are often misguided and they think that the ASEA should be a moisturizer. It is not a moisturizer. It is an internal hydrator of your skin. It is working differently. We have clinical studies that increase the hydration with an 11% increase over 28 days. So you're going to the foundation of your cells and hydrating and filling them up. Think about what our skin's like when we're dehydrated, right? It's very flat. So this is going to support the inside. But when we add the moisturizer, which we love, you're going to then get that silky smooth feel if you want to pop it on top of here. But I love our moisturizer as well. But this one, it has that quality to it.
Yes. Yeah. And you even started talking a little bit about the other components of the skincare system, because it is not the Renew 28 is not a moisturizer. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the cleanser then that was created as well as the moisturizer?
Yeah, absolutely. they created this synergistic line. And so both of those products, the cleanser and the moisturizer, are designed to actually support the whole synergy of redox as a whole. So this is just a comprehensive way to support the skin. But what I love about the other two products is that though they are not redox products themselves, these are the two key redox products. They're both oxygen attractors, which is really important to the health of the skin, again, to the hydration of the skin. But you know, one of the things that I don't think that ASEA really ever promotes, and we certainly don't talk about, is that those products in and of themselves are also anti-aging products. And I don't think that that's particularly clear. People think of, well, I'm just cleaning my face and I'm just moisturizing, but there's lots of elements in those products that they've been really smart at putting together that directly support hydration, moisturizing, anti-aging, UV protection. You know, a lot of people say, well, what about, you know, UV protection in skincare products? Maybe, you know, you're using facial products that have them in. I've actually not used UV products since I've been using the Renew product line. And, you know, you get this amazing benefit. We see clinical study improvements in photo damage, again, coming back to the support. So we have a lot of amazing things. And I love, anyone who uses the facial wash will know that it smells amazing, right? We have obviously things like aloe in there, which we all know are very soothing components, but we have neat things like apple and watermelon and lentils. These are natural moisturizers. You know, they're also oil-free, but they actually provide as much as 24 hours of hydration. We have things like oils from red seaweed, so you'll get the sense that we're using all these food-based things, vegetables and flowers. We have this amazing approach to doing something that chemically, like an alpha hydroxy acid, will, you know, exfoliate, but they can be pretty harsh. And so our approach has to being able to use things like sugar maple and sweet orange and Mediterranean lemon and sugarcane and bilberry. I mean, it sounds like you want to eat these things, right? But they're going to promote smoother skin. So that's one thing you'll feel. They'll promote faster skin cell turnover as well. Then they extract things, and all the extraction processes are done through water extraction. So there's no chemical involvement here, so that, you know, you're getting a really pure process. Fatty acids from coconut oil, which is that mild cleansing foam that we see with the cleanser. And I don't know if you talk about it with the people when you're sharing, but, you know, when you get those bottles, add water to the very bottom and it'll still keep foaming. You're going to get literally everything out of that product. And that particular foaming agent is a lot less irritating than many of the normal agents used in skincare products. We have things like witch hazel to condition and tone and support the pH, and then fruit sugars to cleanse, oil sugars and cane sugars. And we have these amazing essential oils in there, which is what gives it this amazing smell. You know, I don't know that everybody who's using the product knows that obviously it is going to do things like hydrate and moisturize and cleanse. It will do a very gentle exfoliation, but if you've got hard to clean areas around the nose, particularly the chin, those are areas that can be tough, especially if you're younger. You can take a couple of pumps and smooth it up and just leave it over those hard to clean areas and leave it for a couple of minutes. It's actually going to give you a deeper cleanse into those pores, but without being irritating. So, you know, I go one step further and think, well, if it's going to do that for the nose and the chin, well, why not do it all over, right?
I know that's where my thought just went to. I'm like, I'm going to start doing that, maybe even
exactly.
all the way down, right? So
exactly. And then we go to the moisturizer, which, as I said, you know, is you know, what's interesting is it's a very light moisturizer. You may be familiar with looking for daytime moisturizers and nighttime moisturizers. You absolutely don't need that with this at all. I mean, my skin has just changed entirely by using this product. But we start with things like, again, food-based things, beetroot, coconut oil. Again, we get interesting things like jojoba oil come from the seeds of a desert shrub, and that most closely resembles the skin's natural oil. So it's also, that's one of those things that protects us against the UV rays and moisturizes. We've got extracts of olive, which support that youthful skin, things, vitamin E from vegetables, you know, fermented, here's what's really important, fermented lactobacillus. So those of you who are into probiotics, you'll probably be pricking up your ears here. It's in there because that's going to support the skin barrier, which means you protect you from bacteria that come into the skin. And it also stimulates skin cell renewal. We also have something called fragrant star. That is a perennial in the Sahara, between the Sahara and the Judean desert. And the water extraction of that actually provides free radical damage protection. It's also known to support us in things like urban smog. So if you're living in a highly polluted town environment or a city, that's a really great product to protect your skin. It also supports detoxification of those kinds of pollutants and helps with wrinkles. There's a Mediterranean basin plant vine olive for antioxidant defense, marine algae. And then again, the dimethicone, which really helps to smooth out those fine lines and wrinkles and just feel so silky. So that's a really cool piece.
Oh, I
So
love
we've got loads of things in there that we never talk about, right?
Well, and we never talk about it. And I think a lot of people are so conscious of the ingredients that they are putting even on their skin and the number of ingredients. And, so often we talk about the purity of the ingredients with the redox strength and with Renew 28. But I think just what you were saying is, that ASEA really was very intentional about the ingredients that they also put in the cleanser and the moisturizer. Can you tell people a little bit about, if they have sensitive skin, what do people find? And what have you seen with people who have, sensitive to number of ingredients in products?
Yeah, that one's something that, people are always thinking about. Now, they've gone the whole hog here. Those of us who know this product technology know that it was tested extensively in Dermatest in Germany. They run extensive tests. There's been over 100 case tests run on all of these ingredients, and specifically to look at sensitivity to product technology. And these have the lowest ratings. If you'll look in there, if you'll go to something called EWG, you'll look at the Environmental Working Group conditions. These are all ones. So you're going to see that there's very little in there whatsoever that can actually create that. And so sensitivity has been something that has been a priority for them. That still doesn't mean, however, that, we are naturally going to react to something, no matter how low the sensitivity marker is for any product ingredient. But it has the 5-star rating from that test, and is an amazing product line from that. I mean, the sulfate free, which is really important, paraben free, all of those things that we really don't want in there. And what you're not looking at is chemicals. You're looking at everything from a fruit base or a vegetable base.
And can you mention a little bit about the cleanser that has fragrance as one of the ingredients? Can you kind of dive into that for everyone a little bit?
Yeah, and I love the fragrances in the cleanser, and it actually is based on 2 groups of essential oil notes. So that's actually what it's coming from. And they have a citrus group, for example, which is probably what I think people pick up the most, that kind of orange piece that's in there. But that has actually things like blackcurrant in there, and jasmine, and musk, and vanilla. So, those are one of the top sets of notes that we have in there. And then there's another group of essential oils that are botanicals. And so that would be the orange piece, the lilac, excuse me, I had a frog there in my throat, cedarwood, rose, sandalwood. So, what you've got again is those natural things that are going to support smelling amazing, giving us that, I want to use this product feel, and just, that in itself is amazing, but it is all essential oils.
Oh, I appreciate you touching on that. Can you let everyone know just a little bit of recommendations as far as the best way to use the products as well?
Absolutely. So I would always say recommend you the whole line, because I think you're going to see such a difference. But cleanse is a simple pump action. I have it here. I'll just show you. It's a liquid in the bottle, and it's a pump action. So we normally do kind of 1 or 2 pumps into the hand. This one's a brand new one, so let me get it working here. And you can see the foam on there. You can go one of 2 ways. You can either gently wet your face and then apply it, and you'll see that it's just this beautiful creamy cleansing solution, and then just apply it to the face. Massage it in very lightly, because it is going to be an exfoliator. It's not going to be harsh. It's going to support the body in that way. And so it's really going to help clean out the skin. I would tell you the one thing that I've noticed, if I had a young esthetician, newly graduated, who used it, and she was just sold on this. She said, this is the first cleanser I've ever had that cleans off all my makeup. So she was on board for that. But, cleanse, massage it around and then just rinse it off with just lukewarm water. Don't use very hot water on your skin. That's not really a good thing. And then we would apply the Renew 28. Again, you don't need to use a lot of it, although there's a lot of benefits that we feel from sometimes using more. I've had estheticians who've used it intensely, and people who've actually looked like they've had facelifts in a few weeks' time. So that is one thing, but you don't have to. If you're slightly more sensitive, use a little, and just, what's interesting is you don't actually have to let this dry before you apply the next product, which would be the moisturizer, but you can if you want to. The signaling is immediate, and it's not about absorption. Probably wait about 30 seconds, a minute or so, and then you could apply anything else. If you're going to use the intensive serum, apply that on top of the Renew 28, and then finish up with the moisturizer. If you like the sensation, because there's a silica clay that suspends the molecules in here, and sometimes I get people saying, oh, well, it feels very drying, which again, we come back to, this is not a moisturizer. That's where you use the moisturizer afterwards to make you feel kind of very comfortable, or you use the intensive with the dimethicone. But if you get this, sometimes people will say, well, I get this kind of white powder. That's because they're not shaking it enough. So make sure that they really shake it, because that settles, and then they're getting a delivery of too much of the silica that suspends the molecule. So just make sure you're shaking it, use a little less, apply your moisturizer, even if it's not the ASEA moisturizer, apply it afterwards and you'll get that nice supple feel. This is working on how your skin health functions and helping it turn over faster and helping you get this nice rosy glow that we all had when we were young babies, and like you, Alyssa, because you're so much younger. But if you don't like that tightness that people often think of feeling, use the dimethicone based one. You could spray on the skin first, and then you could use this. You don't actually need very much of this. You need a lot less of this to cover the face than you would this. And I actually will often use this just as the main thing all over. I know it's really meant for fine lines and wrinkles, but I figure that if it's going to work on those, why not put it all over? And use it around the neck as well. Really supportive for thyroid health for women.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful tips. Well, I learned a lot even just listening to you briefly. And, I know at this point, a lot of people are wondering, okay, well, I'm ready to be adding this to my shopping cart. And just because of all the great ingredients that are included in our skincare line, can you just briefly touch on, what is the best value as far as ordering for people?
Yeah, absolutely. You can order each one of these individually, obviously, but the company provides you with a 20% discount when you package the three together. So you've got the cleanser, the intensive serum, and the moisturizer, and they come as a package. And I think you held the box up. I have one here. This is the new packaging. It's you've got the inside, there's the outside. Yeah. And that I think is really great value, as a 20% discount. This is very economical. I mean, it lasts a long time and actually is a lot cheaper than so many other products on the market, but nobody else is giving you redox. That's the one key thing, so you're doing something that is really turning around the skin cell turnover by 16% in 28 days. You're going to be having between a 20 and 23% improvement in things like fine lines and wrinkles and tone. Who wouldn't want that, right? And I think be proactive. I have 20-year-old daughters who started 3 or 4 years ago, and my 27-year-old daughter was laughing that she says, I'm frequently getting carded if I go into a bar nowadays because I'm looking like I'm under 21. So
it's not a bad problem to have, right?
It's not necessarily a good one, but it's yeah, she's enjoying it.
Oh, I love it. Well, and you know, too, a lot of these people who are watching right now, you're all people who are customers with ASEA, and so you are actually collecting loyalty points right now as we speak, as long as you're on auto ship, and so you can actually use your loyalty points to even try the skincare product as well. So we actually have a video in the VIP customer group that will walk you through how to even place an order in your using your loyalty points so that you can try all of these incredible products for free. So I would just definitely encourage you to try them. They are just this hidden gem in ASEA, and I love them so much. I'm glad. Thank you for mentioning about the cleanser. I'm going to start adding more water to it so that it lasts a little bit longer. And anyway, I hope that you guys all had great insight this morning. Thank you so much, Carolyn, for hopping on and joining us. I will just ask, there is just one question over
Yes.
in the chat that I did want to address. How does this work for acne prone skin?
Can I be simple and say very well? Yeah, I mean, it again is, you know, you're going to change the way that the skin functions from the inside because of the signaling of the redox with the Renew 28. Everybody loves that. The redox system, you know, redox signaling is one of those things that addresses inflammation. And, you know, when we're out of balance, that's why we have inflamed conditions. And it's not just about the skin, wherever they are. And so we can help the body rebalance that. It's going to also, this doesn't clog the skin. That was one thing I didn't talk about. There's nothing in here that clogs pores. It's actually going to help the body restore that communication. And I would just say try it. You know, you have the 30-day money back guarantee if you're a brand new person coming into it. But I would agree with you. I love the fact that I accumulate loyalty points, and I really basically don't pay for my skincare at any point because I'm drinking the product and using the other products. And so I use my loyalty points to continue to use my skincare on a regular basis.
Yep, I do the same exact thing and I love it. So anyway, thank you again so much for joining us this morning. Everybody go get some in your shopping cart right now in your back office. It is just going to be incredible. You're going to love it. So thanks again, Carolyn. We really appreciate you and all you do. And thank
Welcome.
you everyone for hopping on this morning.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.